Welcome back to the Cork City Marathon 2025 Follow the Leader, and we have some selection of leaders with us today. Before we introduce them all, I suppose we'll just introduce some familiar faces. So we've the beautiful, good-looking Damian Keneally. I was going to say Andy. And the even more good-looking Andy Goulding. So welcome to the... I have to get used to saying YouTube because we're so used to saying podcast, but great to be back. Look, again, for those who've been following us every week, they know what we're about. In 2024, we assisted the Cork City Marathon again, and we went through a 16-week marathon training plan. And again, if people want to look back, that's all there again on our YouTube channel. But this year, it's a bit special and it's a bit different. And we've scanned Ireland and beyond to find out leaders in both the marathon and half marathon who we think will really, influence a lot of our listeners as well and have a great journey forward. So I think without further ado, we'll go through them all. So we'll go with Padraig first. Padraig, if you can let people know who you are and what your background is.
I am Padraig O'Keefe from Waterfall in Cork. I think I'm the only Cork boy. And my background is I'm a retailer, did a bit of cycling, but now I call myself a kind of a runner, I suppose. I'm middle-aged, actually probably a little bit more than that, but 57-year-old that is doing my first marathon, but I've done a few halves, and that's a basic introduction of me.
Very good. Our next so Padraig is going to be one of our marathon leaders, and I suppose Padraig, the big thing again is it's your first marathon, as you said, and again, as you say yourself as a middle-aged, we'll give you a middle-aged runner. I'm sure like a lot of our listeners are going to follow your journey. So again, brilliant story, and I think that's a big factor. We'll go. So Padraig, as you said, is the only Cork man. So we're going up the country now to Down and Fermanagh, and I better be very careful to say Down because I left that out once already and I got killed. So we'll welcome Angeline and Feargal, who had a couple. They sent an application as a couple. So again, Feargal and Angeline, if you want to give us some of your background.
Yeah, I'll kick off. I'm Angeline, and I have done 8 marathons, and it was all pre-kids. So wouldn't say I'm the fastest runner in the world, but I can go a quarter distance, but I plod along in the sense. So I have 3 kids now, and I thought I'm hitting 40 in October, so I was hoping to get another couple of marathons in before the big birthday.
A couple in before 40, jeepers. And what's the PB?
Oh, PB was 4:12 in Berlin.
So you're not slow.
Oh, no.
And again, like just very like Padraig, and again, everybody as we go through them, again, your story is very relatable to people, and we've spoke a lot. We've had some women's special shows over the last year or two, and people talk about pregnancy and returning from pregnancy and so on. So that's going to be a great story, and we again, as we move forward, we can link that in a bit more. And yourself, Feargal?
Yeah, Feargal, I'm Angeline's husband, and I would have played inter-county and Irish League football up here in the north, and I sort of tagged along with Angeline on the marathons, a couple of marathons about 10 years ago for weekends away, and I just landed in like with very little training and did them, and then spent a lot of time recovering after. So doing it now when I'm arguably a bit fitter, I'm probably going to shoot for a sub 4 if I say that, and with some training and guidance from you guys, like put in the work beforehand and then deliver on the day. So looking forward to it.
You say you support Angeline, so is your PB also 4:12 or?
No, I think mine's like 4:20. I don't even know what I got. Like, only there's a picture at the end line that says 4:27, so it must have been something in around that. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay, very good. So again, Padraig, Feargal, and Angeline are our marathon leaders, and again, people can follow their journey. And we also have two half marathon leaders. So again, two more amazing stories. So we go to Aisling first, who actually, well, I'll let you say it. Where are you located, Aisling?
So I'm from Tipperary and I'm currently living in Switzerland for the last 3 years. So yeah, I suppose I have been running since I would say COVID. I just kind of took it up casually. Never really imagined, to be honest, even running a half marathon. And then when I moved out to Switzerland, I did my first one here. It would have been the Lucerne half marathon, and again, expected nothing of it, and ended up placing sixth overall, which I was quite surprised by. And then last year, I suppose I kind of said, shit, I better try. And ended up last year doing the Zurich and coming um, third overall. And again, last year also, I said I'd go back and do the Lucerne again and ended up placing second overall. So I suppose running for me, I just suppose really fell in love with it. I do run a lot, run by myself, which I suppose is a bit of a challenge sometimes. But I will say, living out in Switzerland, a place where it's so outdoorsy, you've endless opportunities, whether you're going skiing, going hiking to the mountains. But running is definitely one of my favorites. So yeah, I suppose when this opportunity came up, I thought, hopefully it would be a nice opportunity to maybe inspire other people. I think when I speak to people who don't know me that well or don't know my background, they just automatically assume I've been running forever. But then I suppose when people back home who know me and know my story know that that was not the case. So I suppose for me, even just being able to run, being able to just go out every day and have the freedom to actually go and run is definitely a big win for me, let alone any achievements.
Brilliant. Aisling, we're planning something at the moment. We're planning a runner's diary road trip, and we're going to go to Killarney first and maybe try and get to Limerick and Dublin and many more. We might even get up north. But if you know anyone that could arrange a runner's diary road trip to Switzerland, we'll be there. Okay.
Fully paid, of course, like
fully paid. Yeah. But yeah, great story. And again, you probably accidentally became a competitive runner, which is brilliant. Again, another great story. And next we'll go to Eoin. So Eoin, introduce yourself there again.
Hi, my name is Owen O'Connor. I'm currently living in Waterford, originally from Kildare. Some of the people that are listening to this probably know one of my old club mates, John Fitzsimons, 1:45 800-meter runner. I was chasing him pretty much all of my life. So that's kind of how I got into competitive running. I had I didn't have. My partner had our first child last December, and I kind of fell away from it in the years kind of leading up to that. Before that, I was running probably the most relevant PB that I have is probably a 16:23 5K. I've actually never done any race above 5K in my life. It's like 6K cross country, but no like official like road race or anything like that. So yeah, this is a bit of a step in a different direction for me. I'm actually planning on doing 2 marathons this year. The Cork half is kind of a stepping stone towards that. So yeah, see how I get on. My biggest struggle is definitely going to be losing the weight for it because I got injured toward the end of 2020 and kind of fell away from running, but I kept on eating like I was a runner. So I'm probably about 15, 20 kilo heavier than I was when I was quick. So that's definitely going to be my biggest struggle, but we'll see how it goes.
But again, that's a very relatable story to so many people that would be listening and watching. So I think it's great. Again, I think we've covered, I don't know if we've done this accidentally, but we certainly have a fair spread of counties. And I think we have a fair spread of stories as well that people can relate to. So, again, we're delighted with the picks. And when we put it out there to the Cork City Marathon team, they were thrilled as well. So we're really looking forward to the journey ahead. But we'll ask a few more questions now, maybe. Andy, do you want to go to the next one there, maybe?
Yeah, so basically, what people are expecting, there'll be the leaders will be giving us blogs. Like we're not going to expect them weekly now, but you know, just updates
hourly.
on their training. Yeah, hourly, yeah. You know, just to like how your training's going. Obviously, we'll be sending the plans to you, so we'll have the plans up on our Instagrams and stuff like that for people to keep an eye out for. And obviously, we'll regularly do YouTube episodes with both the leaders and the coaches. Like we'll try and get as much as that on as well. So it's definitely going to be worth watching. And obviously, it'll be nice to watch the progress of all the leaders as well.
And I think the good thing about that, Andy, is, and fairness to every one of you so far, have already like the social media. Make sure we have all the links for this down below in the in the description down below. Head to everyone's Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or whatever you have. TikTok now, isn't it? Padraig, you've set up now and all.
Put in the the info thing on the group, like if you're able
yeah.
to.
Yeah, so like we'll have everything, we'll have everything, but make sure everyone goes to the links, because the stories for everyone here, and already even watching your own Instagrams, it's actually brilliant. And keep an eye on ours as well, and keep an eye on everybody and the journey. We want people on your journey, so I think it'd be fun for people to see yourselves, your story, how you get on with training, the good days, the bad days, which is what people want to see as well, because you never have the perfect block. So I look forward to seeing that with yourselves as well. And obviously, look, we have a strong team coming behind Richie. So just so people will know, we have our marathon coach, which is Kieran McKeown, who Kieran has coached so many people. He coached me only recently. I didn't get rid of him just for that reason. But Kieran is a serious runner. I think Kieran has run stupid times, before in 5Ks and everything like that. And
Pre-war, he likes to call him, yeah.
Pre-war, yeah.
He's a low 14-minute 5K runner.
Yeah. So like unbelievable. Coach hundreds to marathon PBs. So Kieran McKeown is out of Grange Chamoy. He's going to be helping the marathons, and he's Andy's coach. We have Ken Nason, who is a sub 4-minute miler and now one of the top coaches in Leeville Club in Cork, who's going to be coaching the half marathon. That and is my coach.
Just sorry to jump in. For those that would know Ken, he was our last year's guide through the 16 weeks, so Ken might be familiar to some people as well.
Yeah, so we have Patrick Carroll, who is going to be working on the lad's strength and conditioning. So Patrick, in fairness to him, he will be on actually next week with us. He is giving all the leaders his Running Buddy app, which I've actually am using at the moment, and he uses as well. So it's a great app for you lads, because it's something you can just do at home in a short space of time, and it's absolutely perfect. So that's available to you. We have Precision Fueling is going to be sending out a fuel care package to you, so that you can get your hydration and fueling right for the race day. And we have Dan from Apex Nutrition, who's going to be there as a guide with the nutrition for race day and any questions as well. So you have a team loaded, but that's not even it. There's still more. You're getting Brooks runners. You're getting this, you're going to be getting the Body Light top as well with it. And there's going to be a few more nick and knacks along the way as well. So you're going to be well loved in this, 18 weeks. So I look forward to you documenting all of this, and we get back and let people guide. So Aisling, are you excited for it?
I'm very excited. I suppose as well, a big thing for me is the lack of guidance, I suppose. I suppose I love running so much. I suppose there is, like you said, the bad days, some days there, especially even this week, it's been like -5, I think, this week. Coming back after like being at home for the Christmas. I just found this week was actually really tough to get out and get going because it's so cold. And it's just those type of days when you don't have to show up to go out and go for your run. And then of course, you do go out, you wrap up, and then when you come back, you always feel like 100 times better when you do go. But it's just those small little those times when you're kind of lacking a bit of motivation. And then I suppose I hit many blocks there with whether regards to nutrition or even just training plans. I suppose I've never had a coach with either of these. I think, in the past before, I have, I suppose, made a lot of mistakes there. When I had a niggle, I'd run through it and then you'd end up injured. So I have learned a lot from past, I suppose, mistakes. But I think, it's always useful that people kind of learn before they make the mistakes. Because for me now, I just kind of try to listen to my body. Fuel correctly definitely is a big one, but I feel like, there's so much to learn with this, and I think it will really help me. Of course, I'm always striving for a PB. So that would be a huge win for me if I can get that. But I think it's just also again, hopefully to inspire other people. I won't go into too much detail, but I did say it in my application. I did suffer from an eating disorder for, I think, the bones of about 10 years. When I was, there on complete bed rest, people told me I'd never play sports again. I was a huge camogie player when I was younger. And for me, I literally lost all hope of being able to go back and play sports. So I think, I really put my body through so much. And just to be able to even come back now, I think it just shows how strong our bodies are and how they can just bounce back from, putting it through so much. And I think it's just kind of given me an appreciation as well to just like look after it more. And I suppose there's still so many people that I've met in the past who are still struggling. And for me, I keep in touch with them. And I just know from that, they tell me that just seeing where I am now from, I suppose, where I was kind of keeps them going and inspires them. So I think a big one for me was that if I, come out and talk about it, that it might, really just help even one person and give them a bit of hope to, keep fighting, and whatever their goal is in the future, that, they'll kind of think I can perhaps do that.
Absolutely, yeah. No, and yours is an inspiring story, and again, that will relate to so many. Padraig, similar to Aisling, like what has running done for you in terms of, I can see you're more active now, but like you got into running. How did you get into running, and what do you think are the gains for you in running?
It's keeping me alive. No, I
A good start. Brian is the same every day as well at his age.
I used to cycle, and I used to love that. But you go out for about 4 hours, and you realize that you don't get as much bang for your buck as you might do for just running for 30 minutes. So I was mad to get my wife out running, and eventually when she started running, we started running together, and it went from, doing 2 kilometers to 3 kilometers. Oh, I could never run more than 5. Oh, I've done 5, and suddenly you're doing 10, and then before you know it, you're doing a Kinsale on a wet, windy, is that a 16-kilometer race, and then getting the bug and thinking I could never do more than that, and then you do a half marathon, and I suppose at 57 years of age, I'm just delighted to be getting out there. And when I got announced as a leader, my son said to me, "Well, just don't get injured, Dad, and let everyone down." And my mother-in-law
No
said,
pressure.
My mother-in-law said, "Don't drop dead at the finishing line," and I was going, "Well, that's very encouraging." But I think at 57, there's probably a lot of people that would go, "I couldn't," or "My knees couldn't," but with the correct nutrition, strength and conditioning, working with muscles, I've learned an awful lot in about 3 years that you can keep going that little bit further, and and still get your times down, which is an amazing thing for me, because I started off doing 5Ks in about 35 minutes, and now I'm pushing 25. So next year I'll be trying to keep up with Damian and maybe break 17. That's a joke. I don't think I'll ever do that.
Never say never.
Angeline, Feargal, like what do you see as the biggest challenges in running at the moment, or maybe have been your biggest challenges?
Well, time poor. We have we have three young kids under 8. So I'm between work and everything. It's about fitting in time to run. But I, again, very much like Padraig, it's bang for your buck with running. You sort of step out the door and you start running, and you come back, and within 20-30 minutes you could have a good sweat on you, and you feel great after it. So for us, it's well, I suppose speaking for myself, it's a very short, and you get a lot back out of it as well. And I think it's a good for a mummy. It's nice to be able to just step outside your door and have that breathing space away from the kids for a bit. And again, I'm a bit of a lone wolf in terms of a runner. I started out very much running on my own, did a couple of group running sessions, but very much just, yeah, I like that sort of time on my own as well, I suppose, to run. And then I have no pressure of keeping up or holding people behind. But maybe that's the wrong way to think. Maybe that's my old school thinking again too. So I suppose everyone's different.
Yourself, Feargal,
yeah, for me, like I suppose like what Padraig's saying there about like being 57 and starting out and being able to do it. Like there's people at 37 like think that they can't do it, you know. So like, and once you start, you'll always improve, like you know, over time. So I think that's something like in terms of strength and conditioning I would do. Like it's very very beneficial. Like I'm stronger now than I was, stronger and fitter than I was whenever I was playing sport, and 10, 15 years ago. And I used to think I was fit then, like in the new everything. So like it's just running so accessible as well. Like as I say, you only need training gear and trainers, and like the road's free, so you can go out and do that. Like, and it's, you're only ever competing against yourself, I think. So again, that's where, you know, it's oftentimes to think Angeline runs with earphones in, like I can't listen to music or anything whenever I'm running. So it's like, it's courses for courses in that sense, and it's space away, like, for the soul, like, so that's what I find running anyway. Yeah.
Very good. And same on to you, like what are the challenges you face? And I know some like the guys there have 3 kids, you have 1, but still that's probably a part of your challenge, is it?
Yeah, well, just kind of trying to adjust. Like same thing in trying to fit it in. Obviously, I don't have three of them coming at me at the one time, but still the whole aspect of learning to be a parent, adapting, kind of me and my partner learning what's the balance on who can take him for this amount of time while the other person goes and does something by themselves. That's there's the stresses that come with it, and why I wanted to kind of get sign up to do a marathon and half marathon this year in the first place, because I wanted to, the last few years, really get back to the place that I was before I kind of dropped off. And so what I said to myself was, I'm going to set myself the biggest goal that I possibly could, which was to run a marathon, and obviously this being a stepping stone towards that. I just clawing back what I've kind of let myself fall into the last few years is essentially going to be my biggest challenge, and then balancing that around family.
I think consistency is the best thing, and I think, look, Owen, for yourself as well, Padraig, for Ashley, and for all of you, like it's consistency, is getting out the door. Owen, I seen you're out with the buggy at the moment, like even just getting out and doing that is so important, and try not to miss a day when you don't have to. And I know there's days you have to, but when you can't, if you just get out and even do a mile or two, it will be worth it in the end.
Yeah. Like, we were blown away when we like put out the request for these leaders. So like I'll go through with you, like, so like Angeline and Feargal, like what made you like apply to be a leader? Like what?
And come down to Cork.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I had bought the marathon entry on Christmas Eve as a Christmas present for Feargal. So we already had entered in, so we committed to it. And then I actually seen the call for leaders, and I thought, you know what, it'd be really nice to put the story out there and inspire people, because a marathon seems so unachievable for a lot of people, and especially after, I suppose, just, even for me who did marathons before and then had kids, and I feel like a completely different person again. A bit like Owen there, you're seeking to get back to where you were before. So it's sort of that, oh, can I achieve that goal? But even to get out running again would be great, and to be a leader, it's really just to inspire and talk to people. And I think, yes, if it's even just to get people out the door, just to do a wee couch to 5K, or just inspire people to do a wee bit more. And I've got that feedback already from people, so it's working. So that was the goal, and that's the aim. It has been all along.
Yeah, the same. Like I've never entered a marathon. I've done, I guess, maybe third, and they've all been like just tag along with Angeline on it. Like I've never like went out of my way to enter a marathon. But like there was the distractions of football and all previously. So now, like, I think being a leader and showing that, like, even with the distractions of family and, work and everything else. Like, everybody's time poor. Like, so you can still go out and do something, as massive as a marathon, like, is a thing, and showcasing that. And I've also got messages through that it's inspiring what we're doing, even like the short content we put out to date, like, as a leader. So whenever you're going that distance, like, you might if you can benefit as many people as you can on your journey, like, why not do that?
Absolutely, yeah.
Brilliant. And like Padraig, for you, you're a motivating factor to become a leader.
Interestingly, a lot of TikTokers, podcasters, Instagrammers are all fairly fast, fairly quick, probably fairly young. And I was kind of going, I'd love to do a middle of the pack podcast, or I'd love to do a middle of the pack.
Brian has that already, it's okay.
Yeah, that angle is covered.
Yeah, hold off on the podcast now.
Well, I could always tag along. He is my inspiration, but he still doesn't follow me on Strava.
I do, actually, I do.
You follow me, but I don't follow you. But anyway, so I was kind of going, when you advertise it, my wife said to me, you should do it. You're always talking about inspiring people, or you're always talking about being relatable as a middle-aged, although if I was middle-aged, I'd probably die at 114. But anyway, I'll go with middle-aged for now. But that middle of the pack kind of person that's going to be 25 at a park run, or 2 hours and a half marathon, or 4.5 hours at a marathon, and just kind of go along with my journey, or go along with my journey with you guys, and we'll see how it goes after the marathon. If I can get to the finish line or get to the start line, it'll be inspiring for others too, hopefully.
Well, I think with you, Padraig, and Feargal and Angeline as well, who are marathon leaders, like, you're saying 4 hours, hoping to go sub 4 hours, but I think in the majority of marathons, the bulk of marathon runners come in that time frame. We'll say the 3:45 to the 4:30, maybe. I know it's a wide enough timeline, but definitely the 4 hour mark, I think in most marathons is the biggest number who cross the line. So like, you are covering a huge, I would say, volume of listeners that we'll have. So I think it's great that you're covering those angles.
And we've all been there, Brian. Like, my first marathon was to break 4 hours, and I always remember and I'd done it, and it was just such, a relief. And I know it's not saying that Padraig, I know you're not saying for sub 4 hours or out the door, and you want to do it and you'll be a goal, but 4 hours is not middle of the pack, and I wouldn't call it 4 hours is very good running in a marathon, so like, I think we need to, I think yourselves need to understand it as well. Like, 4 hours marathon is a very good running, and it is something to be very proud of, to even have that goal of going for that in around the 4 hour mark as well.
Because even sorry, because I'm coming there and I'm saying something like, I am a novice runner, like, I mean, like, short distance is no problem, like, but marathon, I think, like, so 4:27 is approximately what I got before. So I'm thinking I could go sub 4, but I have no idea what that entails. Do you know what I mean?
The training, yeah.
You know what I
The
mean?
training journey, yeah.
Exactly. Like, so I don't like, and then once you're gonna get over that, like, I don't know, 16-mile mark, like, there's gonna be aches and pains and creaks and old joints going array. Like, so it's gonna be a massive journey. Like, and I could be back in my box 4:15. Happy enough. So
nothing wrong with it.
No,
that's it. Like, so
I think for people following Padraig's journey in particular, who like forget about the time in some ways, like it's their first marathon, I would say if it's your first marathon and you're a novice runner or whatever, like, you should be focusing on enjoying it and getting to the finish line. If the time comes afterwards, great. But yeah.
Just for your just touching on the last question as well, like, Aisling, I'm conscious that no one asked you what your PB is, and I know what it is, so
I think in my application, actually, I said it wrong. It's 1:18:26 or something like that.
That's impressive.
1:18, yeah. That was last year in Zurich half marathon.
And just for yourself, like, just applying for the leadership, like, was there a motivating factor for yourself, or?
To be honest, I really didn't expect to get picked. So when you guys sent me the email and also put up the video the other day, I was like, oh God, I should have put more than 2 second thought into it when I went up to my bedroom and started to do it last second. But do you know what? I was like, I think that's kind of the best way to come across as kind of like unprepared, unfiltered, just open and honest. And I suppose for me, I suppose I've kind of for ages couldn't really like talk about I suppose my experiences. I probably get too upset, or I just wasn't in the position or comfortable enough to feel like I was strong enough to talk about it. Um but again, as well, I suppose I never want people to look at me and go, oh God, like, that's like unattainable. Times I think for me, I never really set out with a goal. I probably, during COVID, I was running the roads every day and just like that, just build it up slowly. People will always say, oh God, how do you go out and you run a half marathon? Well, I didn't wake up one day and run it. I think it's just slowly building it up. And I think, sometimes people get too caught up as well in the times. And sometimes I have to tell myself that as well, because I do get worked up before races. You're checking the finishing times from last year. You get really caught up and you put so much pressure on yourself. But at the end of the day, I think even getting across the line and finishing, I think it's always helpful as well to see, some of the top athletes when they go out and run, sometimes, they don't finish because, they pull something, just not their day. And for me, I think I struggle a lot as well with, just the whole stress of how much to eat the days leading up, what to eat the morning of the race, how soon to eat before the race, and all these things come into play, and you're just trying to like balance it all and get it all right. And I think luckily enough, most of the times it does go fine, but I think there's sometimes as well there when you're running and especially with the half marathon, you're kind of thinking, do I take on food or like water and things during it? Right now I don't, but I think there's some races where I feel like your legs do start to, you do feel a bit tired and you're kind of thinking, should I have? So I think I'll really look forward to maybe trying out some new things in the lead up instead of just leaving it till the day before to decide what you're going to do. And yeah, so I think just so many
I can
things
safely
I
say
think
that's not
is
happening.
important.
Yeah. No, nothing new starts on the day before, yeah.
Yeah.
And for yourself, because obviously you didn't realize what you were kind of getting yourselves in for, so like you didn't know you were getting all the free stuff.
Well, I'll keep my mouth shut about that. I like to take my time to pause and really think about my answer, if that's something you'll find out about me. Yeah, like similar to Aisling, I kind of just ran into my sitting room, put the phone up to my face, and just started talking. Now I started talking about 7 times because I fell over my voice and stuttered and all that. So for some reason, as soon as there's a camera in front of me, I'll just keep falling over my words. But similar to that, I didn't fully know what I was getting into. I'd even put up a video announcing it, I think yesterday, and I even say in that video, I don't quite know what it entails, but I've been selected. So I'm still kind of finding out more about it, as we all are. But from what we've all heard so far, it's a very exciting thing to get into.
Like the important thing on is what this is. This is for ye, but also it's for the whole running community to get behind, and then you're there to inspire somebody who has a similar story to you, or someone who thinks they have a situation very similar. So like we can talk about all we want, but for yourselves to go out and actually put yourselves out there and now to give your story to people, I think you're going to inspire a lot more people than a lot of you even think you're going to do. And people are going to follow this journey. And what we would love to see at some stage is if there was someone in Waterford and Owen was going for a group and there was a group meet up. Switzerland could be a struggle, but we'll do our best for you, Aisling. So like the plan will be to try and get a little bit of a community going from this. And that's the overall goal that myself, Brian and Andy and Cork Marathon have kind of went behind with this, that this is a community effort, even though it's your own individual stories, but that hopefully people will go behind it and even push you along the way when the times get a bit hard. that you put up a story and then you get feedback from that of, come on, keep it going, you're inspiring me, inspiring me. And all it takes is that one person to make you go back out that door the next day and to go that step further with what you want to do. So I think your journey is going to be brilliant. I actually can't wait for it, as I said earlier. I think put all your efforts into it, because I think for yourselves it's going to be well worth it at the end of the Cork Marathon. When you get across the finish line, we'll be there. We'll be all able to celebrate back, hopefully in a watering hole, have a glass of water, and have a chat and look back, and then your journey, and then you'll sit back and go, Jesus, I just did that, and
Yeah.
I think it's incredible.
Agree. Yeah, and look, there's, as we said there already, like this, it's a great opportunity. There's a lot being put your way in terms of support, and we'll support as well, because I think we want to see everybody here succeed as well. So I think it's great. We're nearly there. We're nearly there.
Yeah.
Will we just talk about maybe what's next ahead?
Yeah. So like for everyone who's watching this, what's going to happen is next week now we're going to come on and we'll have the backroom team, as we like to call them, who's going to come on, and they're going to go through and how, again, they're going to help the lads. The lads are going to have to chat with each of their coaches and the strength and conditioning coaches and everything anyway in between now and then. So there's going to be plenty for the lads to get into their heads over the next week. But for everyone else, they're going to meet the team next week and how they're going to help it. As some of you are going to start your plan next week. So, Aisling and Eoin, you're going to have a little bit more time because of the half. You don't need a full, 18 weeks of it, but we'll be on to you next week, and you're going to be starting with a slight plan to get you out and, getting used to following plans and things like that. Eoin, it'll be harder for you with a buggy, but we'll get you, don't worry, okay? We'll get you sorted that way.
That's only every now and then, don't worry.
Yeah, okay. It's a good way to keep it easy.
It's good for the Instagram, put it that way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the followers love it.
That's it. Yeah,
a buggy and a dog. That's all you want.
It's where he puts his water. Yeah.
I actually literally just bought one of the belts that go around you today that your dogs strap onto, so I can run with the dogs as well.
It will be a sideshow. It's okay.
That's it.
But lads, look, I really hope you enjoy this journey. We are there. The community is there for you in every single way we can. We look forward to you highlighting it as much as you can to inspire people. But look, from myself anyway, and Brian and Andy, all the best with it. Enjoy every second of it. Use every resource that we have for you as much as you want to, and go away and get PBs.
Yeah,
that's important.
And for everybody watching, we'll have regular updates. We'll have blogs, as we said. We'll be coming back on again in a couple of weeks' time when the guys get into their plans and seeing how they're going. And we're going to have, as we said, there's an upcoming episode with Patrick, or the Running Buddy Strength and Conditioning. So there's loads coming. We'll be filtering it all through the YouTube channel and letting people know when it's happening. So yeah, I think we're all excited for the journey ahead. So again, as Dana said, best of luck to everybody.
Welcome.